Hello, hello. Good morning. I hope everyone's doing well. I'll wait for everyone to come in, but welcome to another live chat with me about how November is going so far, about pushing my limits at work and how you can too, and about the pros and cons of working remotely. And of course, I'll discuss with you all my work trip experience I had earlier this month. So here's actually some footage from that work trip. As you can see, of course, I had to fly across states, so it was nice to get a break from the everyday in the office routine. So that was nice. And I had a great trip with my fellow internal audit staff and managers and directors and VPs. Hotel was really nice, and I had a great time. Had a great time. So I'm really thankful for that opportunity. And I'm actually looking forward to going to another work trip again. So yeah, the friendly skies were really nice, and the work trip was awesome. Had training about new audit methodologies and new goals for 2023 and changes that are going to happen in the audit department. So I'm really thankful that I went. But I want to know how you all are doing. So if you are tuning in, go ahead and comment below how you're doing. What are your November goals? And what do you have planned for the rest of the year? Let me know. But yeah, I do want to talk also about, I want to go into this article about the pros and cons of working remotely. The pros and cons of working remotely. I thought this was very interesting. So I'll go ahead and share that article with you all. So here we go. Working remotely, pros and cons. All right, I think everyone should be able to see it. I'll zoom in a little bit. As you come in, be sure to say hi, hello. So, working remotely, pros and cons, plus tips on teleworking. And this is from Indeed.com. And you know, Indeed is at least a popular website for searching for jobs, for getting career advice, advice on how to tailor your resume and cover letters, etc. So I know I certainly use Indeed when I was looking for like different positions or different roles in internal audit. So let's get into the article. The pros and cons of working remotely. So they present a few benefits of working remotely. And so they say improve productivity. And I'll pretty much let you all know my thoughts on this and if I agree or disagree. Oh, hi, Darnell. Darnell has joined us. Wait, hold on. I want to shout out Darnell real quick. Let's shout out Darnell because he joined us. He was the first to join us today. So let's present his comment. There we go. Darnell Folks says, hi. Hi, Darnell. Thanks for joining us. All right. Now I'll go back to the article. So, as I was mentioning, Indeed presents a few options for the pros and cons of working remotely. The first benefit they said was improved productivity. So people are typically, they found more productive when they have a more flexible schedule and also when they do not have to commute. So there are many distractions that occur in the office, such as, the water cooler talk. That means basically when people talk at your desk or talk at the break room when you should be working, you're conversing with your employees or with your coworkers. And so Indeed found that people who work remotely typically are more productive because they have individualized rhythms to their productivity. Some people are more productive in the morning, some more at night. And believe it or not, I know some people who work remotely and they actually sacrifice and get up, towards the end of the evening to do more of their work compared to the morning time. So some companies allow those flexible work hours as well. So that's also a great pro of improved productivity and working remotely. I definitely think that I am more productive when I work remotely because I can better prioritize as well. So, for example, and I have goals, right? So, first of all, I'm not having to commute to and from work, which saves me time. And then also, I'm more productive because I have my list of to-dos, my to-do list of, okay, I need to get this done, get that done, etc. So, I do think that's true that improved productivity is a result of working remotely. Next, reduce commuting time. And I just touched on this, right? So, remote work allows us to avoid delays in our workday without any interference, without traveling, commuting in cars or traveling for business on planes. So removing that commute, which I used to have a hour-long commute one way. So that would be hour long, 1 hour from my work to home and home to work. That would be a total of 2 hours. 2 hours of my workday that I would be commuting and still having to get in 8 hours of work. That was really tough. And I think a lot of people figured out that having to commute so much really didn't really prompt a great work-life fit, or some people say a work-life balance, depending on what your your thoughts are. But yeah, I think the reduced commuting time is awesome because I can even wake up early. As soon as I get up and get dressed, I can go straight to work instead of having to, okay, go to my car, crank up the car. If I have to get gas, then actually drive, park. And some people actually have to pay for parking at their workplace. So I'm sure they're saving money and also saving time, reducing stress, and improving their attitude about work. Do you all agree with that? Let me know in the comments if you agree that you've reduced your commute time due to working remotely. And let me know if you actually work remotely or if you're still going in the office. Let me know. I know right now I'm more of on a hybrid schedule. So I'm partially in the office and then partially working from home. And I think that's a good fit because I still get to interact and socialize with my coworkers and my directors and other members of the team, but I would not also be opposed to being 100% remote. But let me know what you all think in the comments. And thanks to our subscribers for joining the chats. Thanks again. Be sure to ask your questions or just comment on what I'm saying in the chat section and I'll highlight your comments. Another benefit of working remotely is a healthier lifestyle. Healthier lifestyle. So, of course, we always want more time to exercise. We always want to find more time to meal prep. That means preparing our meals to be more nutritious, to get ahead instead of having to resort to getting fast food or resorting to less healthier options that are not good for us in the long run, right? So when we get time to actually eat our vegetables, our fruit, get those whole grains in, actually have time to remember to take our vitamins and all of that is a result of working remotely and having more time to empower us to structure our day to address our health needs, as the article says. So better nutrition. We have less processed foods throughout the day, and we can cook our own meals and eat more healthy. Better fitness. Sitting still and looking at a computer can lead to health challenges. So some people, and I do this as well. So when I am in the office, I do a great job of actually trying to walk throughout the day. So I will literally go outside during my lunch break before or after I eat my lunch. And I will walk just to get that extra movement in, to make sure that my blood is circulating and to kind of recenter, knowing that, okay, work is not my life, and do my affirmations about my purpose here at work and who I am outside of my workplace and outside of my role as an employee. So I feel like taking those breaks during the daytime when I am at work help. So if you do not work remotely, that is one thing that you can do. You can take little breaks and walk outside. And I know right now it's pretty cold. Some companies do have indoor fitness centers. So take advantage of that. You can do that. or just walk around the hallways or explore a new floor within your building, right? Meet new people as well. And get a buddy, bring a buddy along and say, hey, do you want to go for a walk? And you can talk with them about great topics as you do your daily walks, right? So yeah, that's a great pro of working remotely. Better emotional well-being. So we have to realize that there are introverts and experts, right? Extroverts, right? There are introverts and extroverts. So some people are socially active while others are more reserved and really enjoy working by themselves. And I think for me, depending on the day, I'm very socially active and alert to everything that's going on with my coworkers and such. And then some days I just want to get my work done because I may have something to do in the evening, or I may want to get off a little early. So I just really don't have time to socialize and to be totally involved in the work environment. So Indeed is saying that while some people do enjoy working in a socially active office, others may associate traditional work environments with stress or anxiety because they prefer more quiet, less social spaces. And so, again, I think walking throughout the day can help with this. If you do need some quiet time, you can do that. And also, if you're working remotely and you need some social activity, consider going outside and talking to your neighbors if they're working as well, or get a buddy who's also working remotely. You can catch up with that person during your breaks, right? And also, working remotely doesn't mean that you're not actually socializing with your coworkers, right? Obviously, some people still have the video option where they can either message or video chat with their coworkers, right? So that's another way of getting in that social activity as you are working remotely. So yeah, I think these are great topics. The next pro of working remotely is better work-life balance. And I pretty much hit this earlier, but working from home can improve your overall work-life balance. So it allows the greater flexibility in the schedule to interact with your colleagues, to give you more independence, to focus on doing your work. So if you have a very highly active office, or if you had one in the past where they were very social, they had like lunch hour where they were all eat together, or maybe they had programming every week where they were spending an hour taking a break from work just to go to like certain luncheons or to go to certain programs or events on campus at the office. That may have cut into your time that you had to actually work and get things done, right? But working remotely, you can avoid all of those distractions, get what you need to get done while also actually doing chores in the house, right? So I'm not going to lie and say that I have not occasionally done some laundry during my work day when I was working remotely, right? Who else has done that? Whether it's during your lunch break or just whenever you're not like in a busy pace at work, you can get some little things done at your home during the day, during your work day, and still be very productive, still be a highly accomplished employee, right? So yeah, better work-life balance. That's a great pro and benefit to working remotely. Next, more take-home pay. I didn't think this would be the case, but they actually present a great theory on how this could be true. So some states' laws do not have income taxes, while others do. So basically, they're saying that if you work for a company in one state, let's say Massachusetts, but you live in another that has no income tax, like let's say, I think Florida, I don't think Florida has income tax, but correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But they don't have income tax. So you might be able to raise your earning potential and save more money by working for a company that is headquartered or that is established in a state that pays income taxes, but you live in another state that does not charge income taxes. So your tax obligations could significantly decrease. And if I ever choose to work 100% remotely, I will consider that for sure. Next Enhanced savings. That's another pro of working remotely. So people who work remotely can minimize their commuting expenses. As we alluded to earlier, they don't have to ride the bus or they don't have to put gas in their vehicles. It can also save time for other expenses. And think about during the pandemic, when you were working remotely, if you were, I know a lot of people just didn't feel the pressure to buy new clothing, right? For office visits, they didn't feel that need anymore because they were working from home. They could be very comfortable and use the clothes that they already had without feeling that pressure of keeping up with fashion trends or always trying to be new and innovative with their fashion. So it definitely enhances savings because you feel less pressure to maintain a current and up to date professional wardrobe. Also, I mean, when I'm out in the office, I'm sure you feel this way too. You have a little bit of pressure, or maybe not pressure, but incentive to just not bring in food from home, right? So not to meal prep and not cook your food, but to take lunch breaks, pick up some fast food, or go to the local cafe and buy food, which could drastically increase the expenses that you have throughout the year, whether you believe it or not. So working remotely can improve your ability to save or potentially invest portions of your income that you would otherwise be spending if you work from the office. All right. Next, they say that some working environments have greater team diversity if you work remotely. And I definitely understand the geographical diversity because since you are working remotely, you can have employees who are in different areas of the country and even different areas of the world, right? So there are some people who have international companies. You're working with people in London, you're working with people in India, you're working with people in the US, working with people in South Africa or Ghana. And so that different and diverse population of employees can certainly provide greater insight and benefit to the company. Wow. I actually did not think about that before reading that, but I can totally see that. And with that greater diversity, you also have a greater diverse knowledge. So some person may be an expert in forensics accounting, while another person may be an expert in mergers and acquisitions. So people have different specialties, different focuses, different levels and areas of expertise that they can contribute. Awesome. Ah, the next benefit of remote working is improved record keeping. This is also very interesting. So I'll just read what they have. They have most interactions that occur in a remote work environment make it easier for employees to create and preserve records of those interactions. And they go into how you can save emails or memos to document certain interactions, or you can also record video calls. And I know at my company, we definitely take advantage of that, where we record our video meetings with key process owners, with our audit clients, and even internal meetings, just so that there can be a check and a verification, right? To make sure that we're all on the same page. Even if I forget what happened during that meeting, I can always refer to that recording that I have of the virtual call or the video chat. So that definitely makes life easier and it helps me not go back to my managers or coworkers and say, "Hey, what did we decide on again? I forgot," or "I didn't take good notes. What happened again?" So I can certainly attest to that it does improve record keeping. I'll take a break here. Let me know what you think in the comments. And also, go ahead and like the video if you're enjoying what I'm discussing so far. And also, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Make sure that you subscribed. All right, back to the list that Indeed has. So we're discussing the pros and cons of remote work. Another pro, a more sustainable lifestyle. For sure, I think a given is that the less commuting you're doing in your car or bus, definitely you're emitting less carbon, right, every day. So that is definitely protecting Earth and preserving Earth and having a more sustainable influence on the world. And I know ESG has been a huge, huge, huge focal point for many companies on developing and innovating new ways and ideas for how they can be more sustainable to the environment, how they can be better with social justice or social opportunities and social issues, and also how they can be more of a mature governing body. So I think definitely this does promote a more sustainable lifestyle, and companies should consider that when determining if they should have their employees work remotely or come into the office. All right. Now we discussed the benefits of working remotely, but now let's see what are the cons of working remotely. For for one, less human interaction. So as I mentioned earlier, for introverts or people who are more reserved and are more productive alone, less human interaction could be actually a benefit, but here, Indeed is saying that less human interaction is generally a con or a disadvantage of remote work. So I will say that being in the traditional office environment does allow better collaboration with colleagues and allows a sense of teamwork and rapport to be developed as you all are working together, right? I know for sure. I just left a conference, a training for my company, and I will admit, like being with people who I would not ordinarily see every day was definitely eye-opening, and it did make my learning experience and my training experience a lot better rather than being remote and looking at a screen getting all the material in, right? We got to interact, we got to discuss about the topics together as a team, and I really felt like I was closer to those people as I went throughout that day. And even coming back to my hometown office or my remote office at my home, I still was able to say, like, oh, yeah, I talked to this about this. I talked to this with this person, or I talked about this with this person. And he or she knows this very well. So it allowed me to know people's strengths or how I can better help them if they have weaknesses. And so, yeah, I do agree that the human interaction is important. So there should be some mixture of that, even when you are working remotely. It says they can also lead to brainstorming solutions to shared problems. So those are the benefits of human interaction, which we don't always get when we work remotely. Increased travel is a con of working remotely. Hmm. Let's see what they say. While remote work often means working from home, it could also mean traveling to meet with clients or visiting project sites. Hmm. Okay. I definitely think that this depends on your company and what your role is in the company. Because if you're an audit, typically you're going to be traveling anyway. Like, especially if you're an external audit or if you're a public accountant and you're an audit, you will be working and traveling a lot. Travel might actually be uh your primary ritual or your primary habit when you're working. You may be maybe working remotely like maybe 1 to 2 days of the week, but you're probably traveling at least 3 days out of the week. If you're like a special consultant or for public accounting, I know they like to be actually in the client's offices, in their buildings, having that uh, increased exposure to the office environment with which their audit client is at. So I think for us as internal auditors, and even if you're an external auditor, you're already traveling to the client to get key documents, to get key evidence, to perform your walkthroughs and inquiries. So I think for our line of business, if you are an accountant or an auditor who travels, this may not be that much of a con. And honestly, people love travel. Like some people really love traveling. They think of it as like a mini vacation for a few hours or a few days in their week. And they may even take off that Friday and take a personal day to really enjoy that new city, to enjoy their time with their coworkers who live there, etc. So I feel like a lot of these can be pros or cons depending on what type of person you are and depending on where you work. All right. Next con is reduce separation between work and home. Now, this is a real topic because I know during the pandemic we were all quarantining and at home. It was very hard for many people who were not already working remotely to find that fine line between my work hours and my off work personal hours, right? And so if you work remotely, you might feel like your home is becoming the office that you associate with professional obligation instead of relaxation and comfort, right? So I know a lot of people that I know have improved this by actually converting one of their bedrooms to a personal office. So having that designated work environment within your home that you only go to when you're working helps reduce that separation or helps outline my work from my personal hours. So that could be an option. Or if you're in a smaller environment, maybe just committing to, okay, 5:30 every day, I'm going to close this laptop. I'm going to pack it up out of my sight. I'm not going to think about work. I'm going to do something fun at 5:30 every day, whether that's exercising or cooking dinner or chatting on the phone with my friends and family. I'm going to do something in the day to break up that time between my work time and my personal time. So consider how you spend your personal time and your work time when you're at home. Another con or potential disadvantage of working remotely is increased health effects. Hmm. So, if you don't make use of your workspace at home when you're working remotely to do occasional exercises and stretches and walk throughout your day, then you may end up moving less than you would if you had actually traveled to your office, right? Maybe your office or your workplace has a great trail outside, right? Maybe it has a water area like a fountain, or it has some nice lake that you can walk around, or you can just admire to get more in touch with nature and to get some fresh air, right? So I can see that happening for sure. Also, many offices provide a lot of equipment. So full size keyboards, quality ergonomic office chairs, dedicated work desks that can improve your posture or reduce the work strain that you experience when you're working. So, if you are working remotely 100% and you have extra funds, consider investing in furniture and tools that make your home office more ergonomic. And ergonomic just means that it's healthy for your body. You are promoting better posture, better breaks of exercise in between your workday, and it's just improving your mental health as well, right? All right. Ooh. So first they said that a pro could be increased productivity, but now they're saying that working remotely can actually decrease your productivity. Again, I think this list should be taken with a grain of salt. It really depends on who you are, what your role is, and how well you prioritize your tasks. So here they're saying that without the presence of a manager or other coworkers, you may be tempted to engage in unproductive habits, such as watching television, right? Or taking too many breaks to where you're not getting your work done. Or maybe being distracted with a roommate or with your family members during the workday. That is certainly true. That could happen. But I feel like if you're a true professional, you know the tasks that you need to get done. And you should have that to-do list, right? Outlining what you need to get done for the day or for the week, and should work diligently to accomplishing those tasks. But I understand this is certainly a potential con of working remotely. And I think a lot of managers and directors are really concerned about this as well. Maybe not now, because I think now we've had over a year of working remotely. And I think that people have proven, a lot of workers and employees have proven that they can be trusted, right? To get their job done, to get the work done in high quality, right? But I do know there are some traditional work environments, and I guess Twitter is a more relevant company that's dealing with this now, because as you all may have heard, Elon Musk wants his employees to be in the office, to no longer work remotely, to work very hard, right? To work the extra hours. And I think we were trying to shift away from that type of work environment. But I guess some managers just don't trust their employees to be productive as they would in a traditional office environment. Welcome to the chat. If you are new here, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and like this video. Say hi to me in the comments section and I will highlight your comment. If you have any questions, make sure you ask those too. All right. Next, another potential disadvantage of working remotely is delayed response times. So there may be a very urgent work-related need that comes up that requires communication with another employee who is also remote, right? But you're only responding on electronic messages. You're not actually able to physically walk to their office or their cubicle and ask for it. So a gap in communication could actually lead to wasted time. And hi, we have someone who is here with us. So I'm going to actually highlight that comment. All right. Got a little hand signal. Hello there. Thanks for joining the chat. We are live again discussing various topics. So thanks for joining. And I'll go back to the article. So right now we're discussing the pros and cons of working remotely. Let me know what you think. Do you work remotely at all, or have you had an experience where you considered potentially working remotely? Let me know. So yeah, this delay response times could be a con. That's true, but there are ways to work around that as well. So what you could do is, hopefully you have that person's phone number, right? So you can always call, you can always send emails, you could always use a virtual program, such as some people do Microsoft Teams or maybe WebEx or maybe Skype for business, and ping that person. And I mean, hey, hopefully if they're a responsible employee, they're going to be in tune with not leaving their office or not leaving their computer for too long so they can address any work needs. All right. Next, I think this is the last con, is having a lower amount of feedback. So typically, I think this depends on who you are, what your work environment is, and what your role is, and what parameters your office has set or your organization has set for providing feedback to staff and other levels of management, right? So feedback, of course, is so essential to doing your job appropriately and to learning the roles of your job in the first place. Oh, and we have a comment, so I'll stop sharing real quick and I'll highlight that comment. The person says that they survived a few rounds of layoffs while working remotely. Wow. What do you mean by that, though? Do you mean that you were working remotely and the company was having layoffs while people were working remotely? Is that what you mean? Or do you think that working remotely actually has while working remotely, you actually have a better chance of retaining your job and to not being laid off? Just let me know what you mean there, but I'll go back to the discussion while that person's responding. Okay, the person said yes. Got it. Interesting. So yeah, for some people, I think working remotely does actually improve their job retention and could decrease the chances of being laid off. That's interesting. So, feedback is, of course, essential to learning about your job responsibilities, your tasks that you have to do. And in traditional work environments, managers can point out inefficiency in your workflow and improve your job performance by providing that feedback, right? So, I think personally, regardless if you're working from home or if you are in a traditional office environment, you should be requesting feedback from your supervisor. So whether you're in an office or out of the office working remotely, a lot of people think that the manager is supposed to come to them with feedback, but you should also be actively initiating those feedback conversations to say, hey, I've been with the company for 6 months now. I feel like I really have a grasp on what I'm doing, but I want to know your thoughts since you are more of a senior employee here or you're my direct supervisor. I want to know your thoughts on how I can further enhance my value within the company and give you all greater quality and be more productive during my day. So definitely ask for feedback. But yes, I can totally see how working remotely could allow some employees to fall back and not be as proactive in initiating those important conversations. So again, please, please, please make sure that you are asking for feedback. So those are the pros and cons of working remotely. And yeah, really good insight from Indeed there. I like that. So thank you all for joining. At this time, I'll let you all ask questions if you have any. I think the only other thing that I wanted to discuss was pushing limits at work. So this was more of a personal story, but I was given a not an ultimatum, but more of a request to have a report done by Monday morning, right? And Monday, I had something outside of work that was very important to me. I actually took off that day to do it. And so I was like, I can't get it Monday, but I can get it to you Tuesday. And that was huge for me for pushing back to that person and saying, hey, like, your level of expectation for me to get this report done is a little unrealistic. Let's dial it back. I'll give you a date that works best for me. I really had never truly done that before, especially at this company that I'm working with now. And so I just wanted to say, like, hey, know when to push back at certain deadlines or certain constraints that people are giving you because you need to be realistic and honest and upfront about what you can deliver, when you can deliver, and when you can't deliver. And also be upfront about when you need more assistance, when you need more help, right? So don't be scared to push back at all. I think that's very natural and that should be promoted more, really. People should be doing that more so that managers aren't thinking like, oh, well, this person's got it under control when they really don't. I don't know. Have you all had any experiences like that where you had to kind of push back a little bit on people's expectations of what you could do? Or maybe you received a request from a certain department and they said, hey, give this to me by the end of the week. And you're like, hey, whoa, I already have a lot of other stuff to do with my normal day-to-day job. Doing this is extra. So let's figure out a better due date for when I can realistically get this information back to you. I think that's I I think that's commendable, and I think more people should do that, and I truly, truly wish more people would do that. But let me know your thoughts. So that was my example of pushing back a little bit and being like, "Whoa, can't do that right now, but we can talk about a better solution to get you what you want and what you need. But hey, work with me here." Yeah, work with me here. But any other questions from you all in the chat? If not, we can discuss some goals for November. So I think for me, November goals. Again, I recently became a certified internal auditor. So that was certainly a goal for me throughout the year. But since I've accomplished that, I have set a few more goals. And honestly, most of my goals are connected to to YouTube. So being more active with you all, like getting to know you all and providing value, adding value to your experience, right? To your experience as a subscriber or as a viewer, publishing more relevant and valuable content about the CIA exam. And I've even challenged myself, like for December, to maybe do like a vlogmas. Let me know if you all would enjoy that. Doing like a vlogmas type of routine where every other day or every day during the month of December, I would be publishing videos or having live chats where we can discuss different topics. Let me know if you all would like that. Let me know. And also let me know what kinds of ideas you have for me as well. Because I want your input and I want it to benefit you. I want it to be fun and exciting. So yeah, let me know. Let me know. So I'm going to share this cute image that I made. I actually created this myself. I love this little image. There we go. November goals. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on your November goals. But definitely the holidays are coming up, and I feel like this is a time to reconnect with friends that you may have lost contact with, family members that you may have lost contact with, or you may not be speaking with as frequently. That's definitely an option. Let me know some of your goals in the chat room, in the chat box, or in the comments section. Let me know. Another goal that I had professionally, at least, is okay. So you all already know that I'm a CPA, I'm a CIA, but I have been thinking about pursuing either another certification or potentially another degree. And I only say that because my company has great benefits. So they provide education tuition assistance if you want to pursue another degree or another certification that relates to your job. And so I've been challenging myself to like not be complacent, not be stagnant, and really go after something new. And honestly, I've been working in audit for several years, right? But through conversation with many of my employees or a lot of my coworkers and colleagues, I've been having the little voice in my head that says, like, what else besides audit? Like, what else can you do besides being an internal auditor or an external auditor or a traditional accountant? And I love my workplace, so I'm definitely open to finding new ways and new job opportunities at my company that I could pursue and become qualified for. So that's just my thought for November and December as we head into 2023 about what I could do to challenge myself and further advance my career, right? Because I can't be too complacent, can't be a quote unquote one trick pony, as I've heard some people say. And I think that just means like making sure that we are expanding our horizons and challenging ourselves to further develop those innate skills that we all have, right? I'm sure you have skills like maybe, yeah, you're a great accountant, you're a great auditor, but you're also creative, right? So, what about creating your own blog or creating your own newsletter to inform people about different ideas, different topics, different messages or knowledge? Or maybe you're not creative, but you're a great accountant, great auditor, and you want to teach other people how to be accountants or auditors. So you're trying to get into education, the education field, or you want to become a teacher in some area or in some manner. So being a mentor, that could be a possibility as well. But yeah, I don't want to make this video too long. I enjoyed talking with you all. Make sure that you like the video if you enjoyed our chat, subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed yet, and let me know your thoughts on everything that we discussed here. Let me know your goals, etc. So anyone else have any questions that I can answer in the last few minutes? Anyone else have any other questions or want to shout out what their goals are for November? Let me know in the chat section and I'll highlight your comments. But if not, it's been a pleasure speaking with you all again, and watch out for a new video hopefully coming Sunday at the latest. Hopefully it's this weekend. It'll come out. So you all can get that. It'll be about CIA exam part 1, domain 3, where we talk about proficiency and do professional care. So I'll have those practice questions for you all so you can use them for your studies as you become a certified internal auditor. All right, that's all I have for you today. As always, stay blessed and stay boss C.